Clark Freeport Zone is one of the fast-rising economic zones in the Philippines when it comes to attracting foreign investors to expand their businesses in the area. Most of the huge international industries are considering the location to be their hub in Southeast Asia. On Thursday, June 2, the German-Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industries, or the GPCCI, Executive Director Mr. Peter Komalla had visited Clark to see for himself what the place has to offer. A presentation about Clark was led by the AVP for Business Development of Clark, Mr. Roden Paris. On his presentation, he made mention of some of the important aspects that should be considered in choosing Clark. One of the highlights of Mr. Kompalla's visit in Clark was meeting one of the German locators in the area, which is the president and the owner of Dr. Klipp Philippines, Dr. Andreas Klipp. On their meeting, they talk about some of the possible business ventures and the potentials of the area for interested German and European investors. In an interview with Mr. Komalla, he mentioned the points that can be considered to attract German and European investors to have Clark as the hub for their business expansions.
Basically, we have these categories of do they want to sell something? Are they looking for a sourcing partner? Are they planning to invest? And from there you take it, and then you have a closer look at the key stakeholders they meet, or let's look at investment. What are the crucial requirements they have for the location? And then we would check this in detail. And yes, then at the end of the day, for many companies, I would say for the priorities they have, for the requirements, what they need for their manufacturing or for their services, Clark is a very promising destination in the Philippines. Philippines are a very interesting market, 100 million plus consumers, people living here. It also is in Asia a country where you have values that are very close to us. Maybe when you see that more than 80% are Catholic, Roman Catholic here in the Philippines, speaking a very decent English in all provinces, also where you go to, very well educated. And if you sum this up, one crucial thing what we see in these surveys is the quality of labor is very good, and that's what they appreciate in comparison to other countries in Southeast Asia. Now, if you look at Clark, go one step deeper. What are investors looking at when they decide for a location? German businesses, they usually have sophisticated products. If you look at manufacturing, for example, what you need to handle these products or to manufacture is skilled labor. It's one thing. And I think here with Clark, I heard today over 8 million people in the surrounding, very good universities. You have subsidiaries of Ateneo and UP. What more can you wish for when it comes to skilled labor? Another thing would be connectivity, logistics. How do you in the beginning get your products in? How do you get them out if you export them? With the port in Subic and the airport here directly at Clark Freeport and the international connection, this is definitely a huge advantage for this destination.
Also, Dr. Klipp, as an existing locator in the area, gave his testimony and shared his experiences to encourage his colleagues in Germany to choose Clark as their business location in the Philippines.
We were choosing Clark several years before, so our companies have been created in January 2014, and that was a time when the Philippines were not in the target, in the focus of Western countries, especially not in the focus of German countries. So we have not regretted that we came here. With one company is flood control, so we protect buildings with German technology from Hessen in Limburg, and this technology is technology typical for the German Mittelstand. And I only can encourage German-based companies to get in touch with the German-Philippine Chamber of Commerce to get the first information, to come perhaps to the Philippines, because that is a fantastic hub to do business in Southeast Asia. It is a very, very good location, but it always happen. It always depends on what is a German company doing, where is the market, what is the history of the company, what are the requirements. We, for ourselves, we decided for Clark, and with 28,000 hectares, that is very, very huge, and 30% are only developed, and it is very green. I personally, I live inside Clark, and I decided for it because the air is clean, there's no traffic jam, I can take the bicycle if I want to, I can do sports, there's a lot of leisure activities, 3 golf courses, and all these things together, plus the anti-corruption policy of the Clark Development Corporation, that makes it special. We're planning to expand to Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand end of the year, and that is exactly what was a plan 3 years before when we considered to go to the Philippines, and then we were doing a market research study and we were choosing Clark. Like Sir Peter said, the airport is nearby, so for spare parts it's a huge advantage to get fast delivery, and we have no traffic jam inside Clark. So from my home to the company, it's 3 minutes. Wherever you go, it's less than 12 minutes. They say 7 minutes. Okay, sometimes when it is another area, it's 12 minutes, something like that. But it's nothing compared to these traffic jams in other big cities, in Metro Manila, or for instance in Jakarta, or in other cities.
According to Mr. Komalla, his visit in Clark was indeed a great experience, and he is sure that his associates will have the same experience in the future.
My pleasure to do that, and maybe it's good to reflect the day a little, since it's now in the evening. And looking back when we started this morning in Makati, Manila, it only took us less than 2 hours to get here, and that was very surprising from everything I've heard and from the experiences I've made so far. From the very beginning, when we entered Clark, I was more and more surprised, even though I've heard a lot of things. It's actually you realize it, I think, only when you are here, when you see the companies operating here, when you see the many opportunities you have here, and most of all, when you meet the people from the authorities, but the same the business representatives and employees, very friendly, very helpful, and I'm sure that Clark has a very bright future. You have this feeling when you go somewhere, and I think I would not be the only one. I think also other business representatives would immediately feel things are working here. It seems smooth, it's organized, it's structured, there's not too much traffic jam, everyone's progressive and supportive. So yeah, if you sum all that up, it's just at the end of the day many decisions are taken from a guts feeling, and I think this might work here.